When I was a kid, I always wanted an imaginary friend. I was always sad that I never had one. I was the youngest of five, and I was the only boy, so I wished I had a brother or an imaginary friend. I was sad that he never came. My parents both worked a lot, so I was more or less raised by television. Cartoons and movies were a great source of comfort for me, and to this day, I still sleep with the TV on all night, whether it's because I was afraid of the dark and never really got over it, or I'm just afraid to be alone with my own thoughts. The TV being on all night is part of my ritual. It's part of my nightly routine. Disney Channel original movies were part of a lot of 90s kids' Saturday nights, and I was no different. Alley Cat Strike, Brink, Luck of the Irish, Smart House, you name it. But Don't Look Under the Bed was a little different. Welcome to the channel. My name's Oreg. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about a kids' movie. Don't Look Under the Bed premiered October 9th, 1999. It was an actual horror movie. It had genuine jump scares and a terrifying villain. What else did it have? Good question, Oreg. I just rewatched the film this week, and I would have to say that these elements don't really hold up 23 years later as an adult. Nonetheless, they were scary to me as an 8-year-old. I had already seen some of the horror classics at that age. I for sure had seen Halloween, and I think I'd seen Friday the 13th and maybe A Nightmare on Elm Street, but maybe not. But what? But the fact that this movie was scary to me and I had already kind of sort of developed an interest in like adult horror films means that it was actually scary. Maybe. Maybe I was just over the top. Anyways, the movie was so disturbing that in 2006, after years of parental complaints, Disney Channel stopped airing the movie on the channel. Period. Luckily today you can catch it on Disney Plus, and I'm grateful for that because I got to watch it. The movie follows young Frances Bacon McCausland, a precocious young teenager who skips 8th grade to go to high school, but one morning she wakes up, and pranks seem to be happening all over town, which seem to lead back to her as the perpetrator of said hijinks. She enlists the help of Larry Houdini, a guy who claims to be an imaginary person or an imaginary friend. Frances has to battle her logical nature against the fact that no one else seems to be able to see this Larry Houdini, and no one seems to believe that she is innocent. In retrospect, I think it's kind of crazy that this movie got broadcast on a kids show, like a TV channel made just for children. It has genuine moments of horror, and I can think of at least 2 scenes that were scary to me and still I think would scare any child that isn't a psychopath. I'm not sure what got into the producers over at the Disney Channel, but I guess they wanted to make a genuine horror movie, and it's something that they haven't done in the last 2 decades. I think that the theme of the story is appropriate for children. If your child can handle it, I think that it's a good movie for them to watch. I think that the message that creative imagination is just as important as logic is a good one, and that if you don't use your creative imagination for good, it could definitely turn against you. And I think that I'm a living, breathing case of that. I've had nightmares ever since I could remember, and I still have them to this day. If I remember a dream, it was some form of a nightmare. That's just what my dreams are. And I 100% believe it's because I was not able as a young kid to use my imagination to create positive thoughts. So I think the 2 scenes that are scary are when you're first introduced to the boogeyman on the roof and when they actually go to Boogie World. And I would also throw in when Larry kind of snaps at Francis in the garage when you start to see that he's actually turning into a boogeyman, or maybe that's in the kitchen. Either way, that's also kind of scary. Well, pretty scary for a kid. I'm not a parent, so I can't really speak on this from experience, but I do understand why parents wanted this movie pulled. My wife said that she was scared of this movie, and I was scared of it too, but I liked it whenever it played. I mean, when it played during the day, I was more excited to watch it than when it played at night when I was a kid because it was scary. It was hard to watch by myself when it was dark outside. I'd give this movie 4 out of 5 stars for nostalgia, and I would say that if you're a parent and you think that your kid can handle it and you want to introduce them into the world of horror, that this would not be a bad choice. But I don't know if it would have any entertainment value or if you would get something out of it from watching it as an adult if you hadn't already seen it. I will say that Halloween Town is worth watching, and it's one of the movies that my wife and I watch every single Halloween season. So Disney Channel has some bangers. Thanks for watching. I like to talk about horror films, and I also keep a blog, and I stream on Twitch sometimes. So thanks for hanging out. See ya.